Hey guys, Trouble Cat here, and this is sort of a first impressions video, although I've played a fair bit already, actually, on Ghost Recon Future Soldier. And this video is pretty much going to be entirely focused on multiplayer, because I think for most people, multiplayer is one of the biggest factors in their sort of buying decisions. They want to know if they're going to get a lot of playtime out of multiplayer, but I will mention that Future Soldier does have a pretty good single-player campaign, which can also be played co-op with up to 4 people, which I think is fucking awesome. And additionally has another sort of co-op mode called Guerrilla. This video is mostly going to be about multiplayer, and the first thing I just wanted to show you before we actually get into a game is the level of customization in this game is absolutely absurd. I want to show you, like, quickly one class here. I don't have any attachment points right now, so I'm not actually going to be changing anything. But I'll show you. You get like your progression tree here from rank 1 through 50. You unlock new guns and stuff like that. Sometimes you actually, like here, you actually have to choose which of these 2 things you want to unlock at level 4, and then you cannot unlock the other one on that character, but you can create another character of the same class and unlock. So you don't have to worry about it too much. But the main thing I want to show you here is your loadout. You've got the standard stuff, primary weapon, secondary weapon, grenade, equipment. The main thing I just wanted to show you in here, though, is the level of weapon customization. Got my ACR here, ridiculously pimped out, and as you can see, you can sort of go into guns and they kind of explode, and you can actually change every part of this, essentially. So I can change the optics, paint, the trigger. You can choose like a full auto trigger, match trigger, which this is more relevant on console. On console, this actually makes the analog triggers in the controller more sensitive if you're using a match trigger. But yeah, or I can change it to 3-round burst or semi-auto if I want to, which I do not. But the option is there. Magazine, again, you've got a few options here. And it's the same for all of these. Under barrel, you've got actually quite a lot of options. Foregrips, shotguns, grenade launchers, that kind of stuff. Gas system. With this, you can basically control your rate of fire. So an under gas system, which is what I'm using at the moment, gives you a bit lower rate of fire, but makes the gun a bit easier to control. A side rail for my laser sight. A couple other things can go on there. You can choose how long of a barrel you want. As you can see, I'm using the standard barrel at the moment, but you can choose a shorter or longer barrel. Muzzle, again, a bunch of attachments. Stock, optics, again. So you can change a lot about these weapons. I mean, the level of weapon customization is really a lot more than the other game, and I just want to show you guys that because I think it's a really cool feature. And there's quite a lot of weapons as well, but I just want to show you guys that before getting into some gameplay. I'm going to stop the recording now, and we'll resume once I'm in a game. Okay, so I came into this game partway through, but it looks like there's about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one for the recording. We'll pull out the rest of the game. And I guess, yeah, I mean, I'll actually talk about the gameplay a bit now, and I'm done showing you that customization shit. So, what's interesting to me about this game, and the reason that I will say, right away, I like this game a lot. It's maybe not the best game I've ever played in my entire life, but there's actually a lot to recommend it. And what's sort of interesting about it, in a lot of ways, is that it's a sort of slower, more tactical game, I think, than a lot of other shooters on the market at the moment. It's certainly, it feels like it's got a lot more sort of strategy and tactics to it than, especially than Call of Duty, but it's a lot slower than Battlefield. There's no vehicles, and it kind of has this focus on this really tight sort of tactical infantry action. You've got all these gadgets to help you out and stuff like that that you need to figure out the most effective way to use. And I mean, even just moving around the map, I don't know, I find myself having to be a lot more careful in this game than in most other games, just because you don't even die that quickly usually, aside from if you get shot in the head, which headshots in this game are an instant kill, which I'm a big fan of. You don't tend to even die that quickly. It's just that, I don't know, yeah, I mean, it takes a fair few bullets to kill people, but at the same time, if you leave yourself in an exposed position, basically, this is not a game where you're going to have a very good chance to, spin around and kill the other guy faster if he's got better positioning. So this is a game where I'd probably say that the vast majority of gunfights in this game are going to be determined by positioning, and then sort of if you're of equal positioning, then, your actual ability to aim and stuff like that comes into it. But I mean, the most important thing to me, at least, seems to be how you move around the map, how you position yourself, and there's actually quite a lot of tactics that has to go into that. There's a sniper over there. You can see, ow! He killed me horribly. But aside from that, you can actually see there, the scout class in this game who use sniper rifles and submachine guns have this sort of cloaking ability that's kind of cool. I'm playing rifleman at the moment. There's also an engineer class who have a little gadget thing they can throw, kind of like the motion mine from Bad Company 2, that when thrown it makes enemies show up with like red silhouettes around them. You can see sort of my teammates have these green silhouettes I can see through walls. The engineer's sensor ball basically gives enemies red silhouettes like that, which is actually really important in a third-person game, and I think a really fantastically good design decision to include that in multiplayer, because one of the biggest problems with third-person multiplayer shooters is they really encourage camping very strongly. And I mean, there's a lot of movement in this game, especially if you're playing Conflict, which is what I'm playing here, and it's sort of the main game type. You're sort of moving around to capture these different objectives that appear at random points around the map. So there's a lot of movement, but at the same time, third-person games in general just tend to encourage camping because of the fact that you can sit behind a wall and you can see when an enemy's coming and then just pop out and shoot them and stuff like that. So having these gadgets in place, oh god! Having these gadgets in place to let you really find out where the enemies are, see where, you know, where people are hiding and stuff like that, is really important in a third-person game to sort of tone down the level of camping, make that a bit less of a, you know, a win-all strategy. And the game has improved vastly for it. So yeah, I mean, there's not much that I don't like about this game, aside from, probably my biggest complaint, honestly, would be that the P2P matchmaking is a thing that they use. There are no dedicated servers. I'm not a fan of that. Particularly living in Australia, it really does shorten a game's lifespan and lead to an inferior experience while the game is up. But, you know, I guess I've had a little bit of trouble finding games as well. There's not a huge number of people playing, which I guess it's because this game, you know, I don't know how it did commercially, actually, but, you know, as far as I know, it didn't sell a massive number of copies, and it wasn't hugely hyped or anything. And aside from that, it is a little bit more of a niche title, because I do feel this is a game that's going to be a lot harder for people to pick up and sort of do okay in comparison to Call of Duty, particularly. It is a game with a bit more of a learning curve, and it's sort of... It's a game that I could see how a lot of people would find it very frustrating if you're not sort of... Well, if you're not very good at it, because it's very easy to get killed a lot if you're trying to sort of just run around and play it like you would any other shooter. You're gonna die a lot. You have to be a lot slower, a lot more careful. Some guy just threw a sensor mine at me. Any tech, I'm really mad about this. I could be madder, but I'm pretty furious. Ah! My throat! I was using that! I was only half paying attention there. I probably should have been able to take that guy out. Fucking judo chopped me in the face. Anyway. So, I mean, it's gonna be hard for this game to get a gigantic following, I think. But it's good enough that I think if hopefully sort of word of mouth spreads a little bit and more people pick this game up, because I actually think this is a really good game. It's simple, you know, there's not a massive number of maps, there's no sort of kill streaks, no bullshit like that. That is true. So, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of the sort of bells and whistles that people were used to, maybe, aside from a really cool weapon customization and progression system. But, you know, it doesn't have kill streaks, it doesn't have vehicles, it doesn't have any of those things that make games really stand out to people as being awesome. But what it is, to me, it's just a really tight game. If you die, it's because you made a mistake. You know, there's a lot of sort of tactics in it, and I just... Well, it may be missing some of those bells and whistles, and it's not one of those really amazing games that people get, you know, really super excited about. It is a really solid game, and I feel that it's one that, you know, deserves to do well for itself. And I hope it does, because I want to keep playing this game for a while to come, you know. I want there to still be people to play with. So, you know, if you're watching this video and you're liking what you see the gameplay, you think it looks okay, and, you know, obviously I recommend the game, and you have the cash, I'd say go out and buy this if you want to play something, a shooter that's a little bit different from what you're maybe used to with Call of Duty and stuff like that, and that's a little bit simpler, but also, as a result, you know, a little bit tighter, a little bit more focused of an experience, is, I guess, how I'd put it. Which, to me, is a really nice thing. I'm gonna play out the rest of the match here, just to sort of show you guys some more gameplay for the following 3 minutes. I think I pretty much covered what I had to say about this game, but, you know, since for a lot of you, I mean, I know this game wasn't, as I said, enormously successful, so this is probably your first time seeing the gameplay for a lot of you, so, you know, I can keep playing for a bit and show you some more of that. I'd be happy to put up more videos of this, by the way, if there's demand for them. I'm still going to be doing my BF3 videos regularly, but, yeah, I'd be happy to put up some more videos of this if people would like to see it, because I like playing this game, I really do. And especially, it's really refreshing for me, because I've been playing, you know, just Battlefield 3 all day, every day for so long, that it's really nice to have something that's just a little bit different, and a little bit... Yeah, can't really throw a grenade at that angle. And a little bit, I don't know, it's just a little bit simpler, which is nice, and at the same time... Oh! At the same time, there is, you know, there's something to it. So I like this game. It's really, you know, it's a really good game to play for to have something different in my life. Isn't BF3? Oh God, I shouldn't have spawned here. Ah, mistakes I've made in my life. Oh dear, that was get my ass kicked horribly. I'm not very good at this game yet. I'm not claiming to be. You know, I'm actually still learning this one. I do really well some matches, other matches not so much. Doing pretty badly in this one, probably because, I mean, I actually, since I'm still learning in particular, I do need to focus quite a lot to play this game well, and, oh God, obviously recording a commentary at the same time makes that a little bit harder, and so, not doing so great here. But, as I said, I'd be happy to put up more gameplays of this as I'm learning it, and stuff like that, and, I mean, I do get good games now and then, and aside from that, there's probably quite a lot to talk about with this game, you know, different maps, game modes, stuff like that. Particularly, one of the game types that I'm not playing right now, called Siege, is, it pretty much reminds me of Counter-Strike. There's no respawns, and you've got a, there's an attacking team that has to sort of sneak in somewhere on a bomb and blow it up, and a defending team that has to stop them. So, I mean, it's pretty much the same dealio as we're used to with Counter-Strike there. And that game type in particular, I think there'd be sort of a lot to talk about with how to get around the map, stuff like that. And it's a game type that, to be honest, I think this would be a really, really good game to see played at a like professional competitive level, because teamwork makes a big difference in this, or it does. I played with buddies a couple times, or once, like a few matches. He was having some connection issues.
Supply is on the ground. Secure it.
But there are a lot of times in this game where I sort of feel like, man, I wish I had somebody else that I could actually communicate with to sort of watch the other direction as I'm going up this staircase, or, you know, stuff like that. And I think it'd be really, really interesting, particularly with that that Siege game type that's clearly focused around being a more competitive thing. It'd be really, really interesting to see teams of, you know, 4 or 5 players with really tight coordination playing and duking it out in this game. Anyway, that's the end of the match and the end of this video. Accordingly, I didn't do very well, but hopefully you got a little bit of an idea of what the game is about, what the game is like, and, you know, I'd say definitely go and buy it. I think with the single player, which is pretty good, the guerrilla mode, and the multiplayer, which I quite like, you should get your money's worth out of it. So that's all for this video, folks. I'll see you guys next time, and Triple T Cat out.